What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we're going to talk about Eloise because, of course, the footage that we have from the Twitch stream will be out later today. We can't put it out right away after Twitch streams. You have to wait. So, for the time being, I want to talk about what we have discovered with Eloise. Should you use your heroic scrolls for her? And the answer is it really depends on what part of the game you're in. If you are an early game player, if you are a mid game player, she's going to be a pretty solid hero. Now, be patient. As always, this is just your first precursor. We haven't had a chance necessarily to test her out in early game. We're waiting for people who have early to mid game accounts to do Sealand 20 in Shadow, to do Aspen Dungeon, Death 100 pushes, Tower of Oblivion, all those fun things. We haven't done those yet, but by using her in the end and late game, she is a not great end game hero. She feels a lot like Horus, where Horus dominates in the early game PvE side of things, but then when you get to like mid-late game PvP, he's just non-existent. His skills do not work well. Her counterattacks and her abilities are very, very reminiscent of Horus, the way she works. She has a lot of block. She has a way to buff herself when enemies die, which is the same thing Horus has as well. And then she has a counterattack when she blocks, except she does it every time she blocks instead of Horus that only does it after every third block. So I do feel like she's going to be a very strong early and mid-game hero. So if you guys are planning on building her, testing her out very early game, if you haven't done Sealand 20 yet, please let me know. I would love to test her in the early game if somebody has her built. We sadly can't even do that on the evil meme team either. Her active ability, again, it feels very much like Horus because all these abilities here do percent HP damage. So yeah, the counterattack, the reason why the counterattack one doesn't feel great is because it only does 3% of the target's max HP versus the active one that does 12%. I mean, 3% is not a lot. It really is not. You'll see in the video later today, we'll do a bunch of combat with her. Actually, while we're talking about her, we can jump into some very earlier game type combat. Let me find someone in like the 500 range. Yeah, so we're not going to use any Transcendence heroes. We're just going to show you her, how she looks in this type of meta. You'll see her doing not a ton of damage. Granted, a lot of the damage comes from end of round, but there's a couple things that are really interesting here. Number one, Russell's Dazzle is very, very strong against her because even her counterattacks will only hit one target. The other thing that does make a big difference is, actually, you know what? Hold on. We'll show you that after this fight right here. I mean, overall, she's doing okay. She's a very tanky hero. Granted, she has a splendid A and B on. So, yes, we don't have any void imprints on her, but I mean, she's got a splendid A and B. Let me try to find an example for you here. Let me see if I can find someone that is actually running the hero I am talking about. There we go. So we're going to jump in against Knight. There's one big problem here. Uh-oh, defense down. That means she doesn't block. That means she's never going to counterattack so long as Drake is on the battlefield. And boom, she is extremely weak to Drake. I mean, she did nothing there. Absolutely nothing. Let's see if we can find a couple. Oh, this one has a queen. Interesting, but it has very low power, which probably means they used all their spheres for crystals instead of stellar shards. Let's see how this works out, though. It is a queen. We are going to keep her in slot 1, though, and see how she works out. Like I said, she's a very tanky hero. She doesn't really provide utility to the team besides her survivability. She does lower attack. Her basic attack does hit a random target. Forces is winning this fight for us right here. But as you see, like, there's a splendid A and B probably on this queen. She's taking no damage from this hero. Not much damage. Definitely not much healing coming out. Because of course she heals for 25% of the damage she deals, and she's not dealing that much damage. Hey, we got Teddy on this account. Let's hit it. Let's see what happens. Let's see what's going on. All right. I mean, I feel like it's everybody else that's really doing the damage here. That dazzle really does mess her up. That was a big active. So the active does decent damage because, of course, it's 12% of their max HP, whereas the counterattacks are just 3%, and 3% is nothing. So overall, not bad, but again, she's not competing with the ticks or the forces really. Let's go up against this team as well. See how it's doing. What type of damage it can do as well. All right, let's see. I mean, it's okay damage. It's nothing great, though. But she is very tanky with that Splendid A and B. But again, she's like chip away damage. Now, granted, each one of these applications does last for 2 extra rounds, but is that worth it? I don't know. I don't know if it is. That was a really big active, though. Now, the active hit hard, and then, of course, end of round damage is really going to hit nicely. There you go. Like, so as you can see, like, I think there's a big difference to talk about between endgame teams and mid-game. Because even teams like this, like the ones that we're looking at here, they don't have like a Transcendence hero. I would consider them late game accounts like this right here. This is a late game account. It doesn't really have Stellar. It doesn't really have artifacts they need. But you might have like one hero that's set up optimally. In this type of environment, if this is what you are normally fighting, she's going to probably do good. If you need to get Sealand done, again, she's probably going to do pretty good. Aspen Dungeon, because her damage is not gigantic big hits, I don't think she's going to be an Aspen Dungeon hero. At least for like death 50 plus. She'll probably get you to death 1 very easily. She's probably going to be one of the best candidates for your first E5 hero behind Inosuke. But again, look at that little bits of healing for that damage. It just doesn't feel that good. I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. We're, of course, going to test her out a bunch this week. Like, we're going to test her a ton to see what she's like. But again, I'm going to need your guys' help because I don't have an account that we're going to build her on to do Sealand, to do Tower, to do Aspen Dungeon. That's where I'm going to have to lean on you guys and say, hey, if you guys want to build her, you're in the earlier mid-game and you can actually build her, might be worthwhile. Otherwise, maybe what we do is we choose to build her at like Easter or the next month as like a free to play series. Could be fun. Not sure. Ooh, yeah, when she's dubbed, she gets hit really hard. I don't think she's coming out of this dub for the rest of combat. Yeah, she's dead. She's dead, and that's all we care about is what her numbers are doing. So I don't know. Not quite sure. We don't really have PvE that we can even test with her, but at that point, does it really matter? Overall, I mean, PvE is PvE. It's nothing special. We can see how she does maybe in these types of battles. Well, I mean, we'll throw like our normal type team in here, although I'm not sure the gear is set up. We'll just do something like that, throw in a Phoenix. Let's see how she looks in like Realms Gate. But again, this is pretty much just PvP again. There's nothing special about this except very tanky opponents. But maybe she has survivability that other heroes don't. I mean, Queen went down, but again, I don't think Queen had any gear on, to be honest. She's healing for a lot. She's staying to... Oh, that was a big Faith Blade hit. But she's healed back up. It could be her end of round damage really heals her. Because, of course, at the end of every round, those scarred marks are going to actually do more damage. Maybe she has a spot in, like, pushing in Realms Gate. She does seem to be the one that's surviving the best out of this entire team. The end of round healing is very significant. 8 million healing end of round, I think that was. God, that healing is crazy. She finally went down. Oh, yeah, it's interesting. definitely a lot of damage. So maybe she's a good Realms Gate pushing candidate. That is something that's at least a footnote. We'll test it more though. But not too bad. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Hopefully it kind of helped you decide what you want to do with this hero, if you're even considering building her. And I'll see you guys next time.